one stop, family shop. Think Thayer, come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
Plus the healthier team. Is that maybe the biggest factor that you were happiest with coming out?
I don't know about the 2-2. I mean, we felt like we had an opportunity. We know it was a difficult schedule. We'd have loved to come out better than 2-2. We could have came out 0-4, which would not have been very good. I think the big thing is the health. We're a little beat up. We're a little bit more than a little bit beat up, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way to let some of these guys heal up because the East is going to be a very, very, very difficult run. But we got to get back and we got to be healthy. So we're going to go down to Buffalo, and we know they're a heck of an opponent to open up with, especially with a brand new coach. And hopefully we'll do okay.
Coming out with quarterback healthy.
Big.
A big first.
Absolutely. When we went into the non-conference, the big thing was to make sure we came out with our quarterback. We feel like we've got two good ones, but obviously one starts in front of the other, and it was really important that we came out healthy enough out of that non-conference that he could start the East for us. I've never had an opportunity to play the Eastern teams with Matt Johnson. I'd like to try and see what that looks like.
Did you guys do anything different with him to keep him healthy?
Sure we did. Yes, sir. Well, they can watch the tape. We did a lot of things. It was, that was one of the things that going into the summer, as a coaching staff, that, you can't totally protect them when they're out there, but you're going to do there was a lot of things we would not do against those opponents that could have helped us win those games, but we just couldn't put him at risk.
How much of an emphasis was he talked about, you guys really getting on him to not take unnecessary hits and obviously making sure you slide and everything like that. And we saw him run, a little bit Saturday, a little bit the week before that. But how much was you guys really being on him about being careful?
Well, we just kind of took him through the RG3 Washington Redskin thing, the Russell Wilson thing, and then how Russell Wilson always finds a way to protect himself. And we made him watch a lot of tape that he can run and still be a part of our offense and still protect himself at the same time. And I really think he took that to heart, and he's brought that to his game this year.
Was that a lot of off-season stuff?
Absolutely.
How much of that goes into, was that as far as preparing himself to lead a team really for the first time, he's going to be healthy, and how much was devoted to learning that kind of style?
Well, like I said, we took a lot of time. We took a lot of Seahawk film and say, hey, look, here's an NFL guy showing you how to do it. And, we need to do it that way. And based off the people that we were playing coming out of the gate early, there were some big, nasty cats on the other side of the ball, and he had to find a way to make sure he protected himself.
To beat two Big Ten teams in the same season, what's that say about where this program's at, and what does that do for confidence and all those type of things?
Well, I think it says a lot about where the program's at. I think it says a lot about where the MAC conference is. To be able to do that and then have an opportunity to win, to beat three Big Ten teams in the last 2 years is really big. But more important than that, it's the memory that these young men are going to take with them forever. And that's what I told them after the game. We're all old farts and we're not going to be around very long, but these memories of being able to beat two Big Ten teams in non-conference is going to go with them throughout their lives. I mean, their kids will know it, their grandkids will know it, and hopefully it'll, in life and in jobs that they pursue later on down the road, they'll have the confidence to go out on an edge and do some things that maybe some other people might not do, which will give them a chance to be extraordinary. I'm really excited about that.
Go back to Matt for a second. Those first 4 non-conference games, obviously tough. 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions from him. You said you never played in the East with him, but what have you learned about him through these first 4 games?
Extremely competitive, fantastic leader. Little hard-headed, but hard head makes a soft behind. That's okay. I can deal with a little hard-headed. He's an excellent competitor.
Kind of gave him the keys to the car. 207 pass attempts that he's up.
I don't know if he's got the keys to the car, but he still needs to bring it home at night. He ain't keeping it overnight.
When you look at the film from Saturday, how how would you grade how your defense played?
I thought the defense played extremely well. I think one of the statistics you have to look at is their yards per rush. I mean, those guys were, for them to keep their yards per rush down to where it was, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say under 100 yards for a Big Ten team at their place on the grass when you knew they wanted to run the football with a brand new starting quarterback. I'll take that every time. I really believe that was one of the keys to the game, is Purdue not being able to run the football.
Outside of just strictly numbers, how do you guys grade or gauge how the defense play week to week?
By whether we win, yeah, that's how we grade it. We're trying to win the game, not the statistical battle, but the game.
To go on the road the way that you guys have and win games, how big is that, and how much more difficult is it to go 2-2 with this non-conference schedule, and the fact that you played 3 of those on the road, and then you have to go do it again?
It's been difficult, but we've had nice long bus rides, and we've been watching Road Warrior and stuff like that. All those guys that have to go in, and win in tough situations and find a way to get it done. So our DVD movie selection has been very selective, and I think that's really been the key to our mental outlook on how we play those games. No, seriously, I think the guys have done a good job. I really do. So we understood that we were going to be on the road, and it's a cool mentality. Us against the world. Ross 8 Stadium was full. It was a great venue, and so was the Tennessee, so was the Detroit, and so was Maryland. So great places to play.
Looking back at your defense, will you talk a little bit about dealing with a veteran offense from Buffalo?
First of all, their quarterback, Joe Licata, has been 32 games started, so he's started 36 games. Fabulous kid, runs the offense. Got an opportunity to see him last year. They have their offensive line average is 6'4", over 300 pounds. They've got 2 senior wide receivers, both above 6'2", and then they have what every offensive coach cherish. I mean, they have 2 big tailbacks. They got a 210-pound tailback, a 220-pound tailback behind that big line. And I remember the game last year. I mean, it came down to the very last drive, and I think we got them late. That's a very, very veteran offensive group, and our defense is going to have their hands full with those guys.
Do you have to? Do you have the defense's attention? I guess actually, do you have the whole team's attention that, the Big Ten teams are behind us? It's now the MAC season.
We addressed that Sunday that the non-conference is over. We're going after an Eastern crown. We're going to try to win it for the 3rd time. We're not sure it's ever been done before. I guess I'll Google it after this. But that would be a special deal. And it would be very disappointing for this team not to have that accomplishment when the season's all done. And we're trying to be extremely focused and take every game one at a time to make sure we don't overlook anything.
How hard is it when Buffalo, like you said, has got such a veteran offense? Seems like they can throw the ball pretty well, but when you've got such a young secondary, depleted secondary with injuries and stuff like that, how important does that make the defensive line play and everybody else's play?
Oh, I think it's very important. I think it's very important. You're talking about Buffalo's defensive line?
You guys' defensive line.
Our defensive line? Yeah. I think that Buffalo's offense is the strength of their team. Now, their defense is good, but I think they just got so much experience on offense, which makes them dangerous to our defense. I mean, they can obviously get out there and try to play a ball control offense and keep the ball away from our offense. And our defense has to find a way to stop and get stops on a very veteran group with a senior quarterback, with senior receivers, a big offensive line, and big backs. And it's difficult. I mean, those backs are just as big as Purdue's running backs. The line is just as big as Purdue's offensive line. And the wide receivers are just as tall.
Do you know Lance Leopold at all?
I met him for I'd met him before at the AFCA convention. Got an opportunity to meet him this summer. You know, I want to throw something out at him, which I just think is amazing. I really do. Obviously, everybody knows about all the championships he's had, but I looked at his record, and I want to say it was like 111 and 17, and I'm not sure. What is it? 8?
111 and 8.
It's even better than that. Okay, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, the guy's played 110 games, and he hasn't lost 10. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's got to be a fantastic motivational guy. And like I said, I'm a little uneasy about it. I'd rather not be opening up with him in the East. I'd rather want to see what in the heck they've been doing for a while and play him the third, fourth, or fifth game. I'm a little uneasy about it. And, you know, we got to really focus on us and make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's. We know we're going against an excellent staff with some weapons. And, you know, hopefully we'll come out okay.